Hi, my name's Anna Dow, and I'm a therapist who primarily works with folks who are navigating issues related to non-monogamy. And today I'm going to be talking with you about boundaries. Boundaries essentially are what separate our own feelings, needs, and experiences from those of others. And that may sound really simple and straightforward on the surface, but in practice, it can be a bit tricky finding the right balance in uplifting boundaries that feel optimally healthy and good for us, especially for folks who grew up in environments that were chaotic and stressful, or in environments where adults were controlling and didn't give kids the agency to make their own choices and express their own feelings and needs. So kids who were able to have their own separate experiences and be validated in that tend to develop healthy and balanced boundaries. But the kids who had more chaotic or controlling environments tend to adapt by either developing loose and porous boundaries or rigid boundaries. The kids who go the loose and porous direction learn to look outward to regulate their own emotions and to determine if situations are safe. So they become really sensitive to the energy of other people and have a harder time separating their own feelings from those of others. And the kids who go the rigid direction tend to block out the energy and experiences of others and regulate by going inward. So they're more likely to have a mindset that I don't need anybody, I'm all good, I'll just take care of myself. Then those defenses carry with them into adult relationships and shape how people navigate boundaries as they adventure on in life. And I'm going to read you a list of different things you can look for to try to assess where you're at right here and right now with your boundaries on that loose to rigid spectrum. Now, most of us will exhibit some qualities in all of the categories, but for some people you may hear one category and be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly me. And that's good information to have, so it can help guide you in the things that you could work on or correct to come into a healthier balance that might feel better for you and work better for you for getting your needs met in your life. So in the loose, porous category, some things to look for are if you have difficulty saying no and you find that you overcommit to things, if you struggle in identifying your own feelings and needs or in expressing your feelings and needs directly to other people, if you tend to overshare information or get over involved in other people's problems with a desire to fix or help other people. People with loose boundaries often give unsolicited advice or feel really inclined to always comment on social media posts that they don't agree with. They're more sensitive and have a tendency towards taking things personally and are more dependent on other people's opinions. So their own self-image is impacted really strongly by what others think of them, and they often want to consult with other people in making big decisions. They also can be accepting of mistreatment or unhealthy situations for longer than is ideal and can have trouble getting out of unhealthy relationships. And they tend to take on a disproportionate amount of blame. So there's lots of over apologizing for things. And if attachment theory is something that you're familiar with, people with loose or porous boundaries are more inclined towards anxious attachment presentation. Then in the healthy boundary category, folks can better identify and name their own feelings. They can identify their needs and values and communicate directly with other people about those. They don't feel guilt in expressing their own needs or feelings. And they share personal information with people in a way that's intimacy building, because it's not oversharing, it doesn't make people uncomfortable, but it's also not blocking out connection. They can be vulnerable and be comfortable with that. And they're able to say no to things they want to say no to, and yes to things they want to say yes to. And they're able to respect other people's no's. They're also able to acknowledge unhealthy or undesirable situations and remove themselves from those situations. Then with the rigid boundaries, people with rigid boundaries tend to block out intimacy and detach emotionally. So even in romantic relationships, they can seem a bit detached. They also tend to have few close connections, and their intimate relationships tend to be more short-lived. They gravitate towards all or nothing thinking. So a relationship could be going really great, and then the person doesn't call them back for a couple days, and their mind could go to, that person never calls me back, that person always does this. And so that makes them more likely to cut people out when mistakes are made or something's done that's hurtful, rather than talking through it. They tend to also fear rejection, but they handle that by just keeping people at a distance, and are avoidant in regards to acknowledging their own feelings, and avoidant in regards to conflict. And they often don't even know what they're feeling, because they're more likely to distract by staying busy all the time or being workaholics, so that they don't have to look at difficult feelings. And they gravitate more towards the avoidant attachment. Again, if that is something that you're familiar with. So now I challenge you to spend some time doing a little bit of journaling and putting some thought into where your boundaries currently are, and any ways that you could work towards coming into a better place of balance yourself that could increase your feelings of happiness and the health of your relationships. And if you feel inclined, it could help to do a little creative art project where you draw a box in the middle of the page that is a fence, and you could use words or images and fill the inside with things that you want to welcome into your life and into your own experience. So the idea with this project is that our boundaries are like a fence around us. And when we have healthy boundaries, the fence has a gate that we can open and close to easily invite good things in and ask negative energy or people to step out of our space. Excuse me. But when we have rigid boundaries, instead of being a gate with a door that can open and close, it's like a fortress around us with a secret door somewhere that nobody knows how to get into. And we block out the good stuff as well as the stuff that we don't want to welcome into our experience or our life. And if we have porous boundaries, there's just no fence at all. And energy and people are just coming and going freely, and we don't feel like we have any control over what we welcome into our space and what we don't. So the idea behind this project is to draw a fence and a door, and inside just focus some energy on what are the things that you want to welcome into your life and welcome into your relationships. And then think of one actionable goal that you could make to help bring yourself into a better place of balance where you're welcoming more of these things into your life. For an actionable goal to be achievable, there's an acronym that I always use that helps me, that's SMART. So try to make a SMART goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. An example that I came up with is that I will not feel inclined to post on someone's social media post that I don't agree with for the rest of August. I'm going to just hold back on stating my opinion if I disagree with someone on the internet until the end of August. So think of an actionable goal that you could make for yourself that could help you to feel a bit more balanced. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.